on the field until week 5, and that's an optimistic timetable. That's not good. Take a listen to the issue and the update and a possible solution.
Solution?
See him around week 6, which means that could be week 10, means it could be week 5, but that's the area where I start thinking about it, which is a long ways away. I know it's not week 1 or anything like that. We're looking into everything. We'll always try to do the best, but try not to just panic and do something to survive a tough situation at the expense of what would really hurt you later in this year and definitely next year.
Now, Dusty sold that to me as a quote about trading for Tyreek Hill. It was a little bit of a leap there.
Well, in the article,
trading for more.
In the article, they talked
that
about.
on the board?
I don't think that's likely.
Oh my.
Now, here's something that should excite you almost as much as Tyreek Hill. One of your absolute favorite receivers, who I've heard about for 4 years, how much you like, who happens to be unemployed, Gabe Davis. He could come in.
Honestly, though, I think they need to look at Gabe.
But
Real
here,
talk.
exactly.
Yeah.
But Coach, here's the deal. And you and I are going to get a front row seat to this. And it's going to be today, and it's already been happening slowly over the offseason. It'll really be full in force all year. I am glad the show's expanding almost just so we have more time to watch this happen. Watch the Brew pivot. The slow pivot off Purdy of, I never said he was great. Now, I might have said he could be Drew Brees, and he reminded me of Steve Young, but I never said he was great.
I said Drew Brees.
Drew Brees. I'm sorry. Steve Young was
Steve Young
was Sam Darnold.
After Steve saw me say it,
exactly
he
right.
started saying Drew Brees.
Because the entire, and this is where Wild's going to get annoyed, the entire house that Jimmy G built is coming crashing down. Because so much of our Purdy debate is really just shrapnel of an old Jimmy G debate, and all of these hypotheticals that Wilds famously said, I don't play fantasy football. I don't want to do hypotheticals.
I do, but
we are now seeing in real time. We got to see what would this Niners team look like if they just took a guy into and Jimmy G's role, and the answer was they get back to the Super Bowl. And then what would Brock Purdy look like if all of a sudden, instead of having the most stacked team, you started paring the guys away? And we saw it for a season last year, but it wasn't enough because he had, I guess, a decent passer rating. And now Kyle Shanahan's already fresh off giving the guy $52 million a year, fresh off like, whoa, we don't want to jeopardize, next season before this season even begins. And so Brew's a smart man, maybe the smartest guy on the show. He's not going to go down with a sinking ship. He's going to slowly pivot. It might even start right now.
He's not a sinking ship. The pivot is you becoming a QB wins guy.
No, there's no.
All I hear you say about Purdy is 6 wins.
I didn't.
6 wins.
Did I say that once there?
Did you say he's got a better passer rating than Mahomes last year? Than Jordan Love last year? Than C.J. Stroud last year? Than Matthew Stafford last year? Look, Purdy, I think Coach Purdy can have a good year. He can't do what he did 2 years ago.
Why not?
Because he doesn't. You need somebody to throw the football to.
He's got your guy Pearsall.
Hold on. We have seen for 2 years what the great, who I've said is Jordan-esque and the best quarterback ever.
Sports Illustrated.
We've seen what he has looked like without really good receivers
Won the
around.
Super Bowl and lost the Super Bowl.
It's not QB wins, though. Individually, he's been great situationally. He's been great in the playoffs, but his numbers have plummeted because he doesn't have, because he doesn't have receivers to throw to. All right? What about everybody's All-American, Matthew Stafford? Last year, he was terrible when Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp were out. So you can't have the double standard of acting like, looking over Stafford and Mahomes when they struggle without receivers, but then you're going to rip Purdy because he doesn't play as well without receivers?
The question is, I think the Niners are going to have another rough year. I would imagine people that believe in the quarterback, they have a healthy Christian McCaffrey. They still have Trent Williams. They still have George Kittle. They have
Did you name a wide receiver?
You love Pearsall. I heard all
Pearsall got to stay healthy, too. Pearsall's hurt all the time, too. I'm not saying, I said he can have a good year. I don't expect him to be fourth in MVP race. That's all I'm saying.
In fairness to you, Brew, this situation has gone from, rough to really rough. When you look at it, Juwan Jennings is hurt, and he's got the contract issue. You got Brandon Ayuk, we know where he is. Jordan Watkins, who they were excited about, just got a high ankle sprain. Jacob Cowing, he has a hamstring. Demarcus Robinson just pled no contest to DUI. He's going to be suspended. So now you've got Ricky Pearsall as wide receiver 1, 2, and 3. So if we were talking about Jordan Love or any number of quarterbacks, with this situation
you
right
don't
here,
think the Packers would trade their healthy wide receiving core for Christian McCaffrey and George Kittle?
I'm just saying, I want to see
and Ricky Pearsall.
I want to see whether or not he can be a force multiplier. But this room has gotten pretty rough here
Coach.
in a hurry. So
hold on. Wait a second.
And
how do the Niners' weapons compare?
We don't even know
to
what
the
Christian
Texans
McCaffrey's
and the
going to
Packers?
be.
Hold on. How do the Niners' weapons right now compare to the Texans and the Packers?
It's not as good as the Packers. Because Josh Jacobs, we know Josh Jacobs can run. And Matthew, he might not be Christian McCaffrey. There's a great chance that Josh Jacobs is better than McCaffrey this year. Okay. Now, McCaffrey's a receiver and all that, but as far as running the football,
so again,
and then they got Matthew Golden and then a bunch of number 2 receivers in Green Bay.
Am I out on a limb by saying, even with these receivers injured, that the Niners, their weapons are now about league average?
You're out on a limb.
Okay.
Because weapons, you need receivers.
They have a first-round pick that you like. He's healthy.
These last 2 years when Mahomes has had like a 93 passer rating, he's had Travis Kelce. Yeah. He just hasn't had anything on the outside.
And you have George Kittle and Christian McCaffrey. So
but I'm saying, my point is Mahomes has not looked great individually.
He has not,
statistically.
Listen, he has not had individually great stats.
That's all I'm saying.
What he has had is unbelievable third down,
because he's the best quarterback in the league.
And I'm not trying to compare him to Mahomes. You keep bringing up Mahomes. My question is, I think if we were to stack up all 32 teams, the Niners now all of a sudden are in that what did we call it? The fluid middle.
How are they in the fluid middle?
Because they have a top 3 running back and a top 3 tight end and a first-round pick that
you need somebody on the outside.
Right, that's Ricky Pearsall, who you told me all
Ricky Pearsall, first of all, he has to stay healthy.
But he is, right now.
He has been injured every other month.
But he's healthy right now.
All right, and he's good, but nobody ever said he was a number 1 receiver.
Okay, how does it compare to Josh
I actually think Jawan Jennings needs to. Josh Allen? I've never put Purdy in Josh Allen's class.
He's Drew Brees. Drew.
He plays like Drew.
All right, so then
I mean,
let
you
me
comparing
find
him
a
to
guy
Josh Allen?
that we're on level footing with. All right, let's go Matt Stafford. How about that?
Stafford looked terrible last year when Puka Nacua.
No, but I'm saying right now,
how
do their weapons compare?
With
Devontae Adams,
Puka, Devontae,
and Kyren Williams, really?
Against Christian McCaffrey, right? Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, and your guy Ricky Pearsall. The Rams are a little better? A lot better?
A lot better.
I think they're considerably better.
Like, it's not even close,
I thought Christian McCaffrey was, he almost won.
We don't know what Christian McCaffrey's going to be after a year off from injury.
What's the point you're trying to make? That they're league average, so now Purdy should stink?
No, my point is, I think it's very clear.
How can you look at that receiving core?
Because I think that the Niners now have, and I think Coach might agree with me, now have pretty typical weapons. I think you have a great running back, a great tight end, a below-average receiving core given the injuries. And you have a quarterback that you guys said they should pay. I said they shouldn't. Coach was ambivalent about it.
I think they should have paid him, and I think he's still a very good quarterback. But you need wide receivers to throw the football.
Jawan Jennings should be back.
He should actually sit out.
But we got to figure out where they got to figure out what's going on with the contract. Is the cap the cap, or is the cap the contract and the cap? That's right. And then they're excited about Jordan Watkins, and he did a lot of good stuff.
He's out a month?
He's out with a high ankle sprain. The difficult thing right now for San Fran is they can't practice with their group, okay, and that happens during camp. But it's not just that, but defensively, your defense isn't working against top-flight receivers right now. And I know it's a really sort of different perspective on it, but you want your top guys working against the top offensive guys, and you don't have that. Now your twos have bumped up to ones, your threes, everybody's bumped up, so you're not quite getting that competition.
There's no way, Nick. Again, of course, Kittle, we respect Kittle. McCaffrey, we think will be good.
Who has better weapons, the Chargers or the Niners? Right now.
Who's the lad McConkey on the 49ers?
Christian McCaffrey is the lad McConkey of the Niners.
No, he's not, because he's not a wide receiver. He's actually a running back.
Okay, so but it's how your offense moves. And Christian McCaffrey, when he almost won MVP, I don't know what his receiving numbers were. I bet they were damn near what Ladd did last year.
It's still a difference.
But again, we're not a big Justin Herbert show. This is.
I can't believe you're looking at their depleted receiving core and saying they got league average weapons.
What I'm looking at it
out the whole season. They're out right now, but we're not talking about
what I'm looking at is this. I, for years, have been pilloried for saying I think the Niners would struggle if they weren't elite across the board. We now are walking into a season where they have an elite running back, an elite tight end, and below-average receivers. And the Niners folks are like, well, you can't be surprised if they struggle, when that's been my take forever.
Who's saying they're going to struggle?
I think Brew is saying
I'm not saying they're going to struggle. I'm talking about Purdy.
Vegas doesn't think they're going to struggle. Their over-unders at 9.5. They have the easiest schedule. So I'll make a prediction. Once they don't struggle, it's going to be who did Brock Purdy beat? Look at this week schedule, the easiest schedule in the league. Oh, so what? You went to New Orleans and won. So what? You beat the Giants. So what? You beat the Colts. You beat the.
Can I ask you a question?
Like that's
when have I ever done that? When have I ever done that?
Nick, you have a history of moving the goalposts with Brock Purdy considerably.
So I would argue that this conversation is evidence. I'm the only person who's kept him in the same place. I have had a very consistent opinion, which is I think that if you are a league average quarterback, which he is, you can look, he's better than Jimmy Garoppolo, you can look phenomenal in the Shanahan system with those weapons. But that if you don't have them, you are going to all of a sudden have an emperor has no clothes moment. You guys disagreed with me about it.
So he had no clothes? He was terrible last year?
I think he looked like last year a league average quarterback.
Well, how did he have a better passer rating than so many of these stars?
I'll be honest, I don't think passer rating is the end-all, be-all that you...
What about yards per attempt? How about that? You love that
I do. I absolutely like
yards per attempt.
No, because I think that is a piece of it. No, I think he's very good at yards per attempt. I think there's a piece of it. But I think that the goal, I would think the goalpost moving, with respect, KW, would be you. Who's the only thing you've ever cared about is quarterback wins. It's the only thing you've
ever... No, you're now talking about QB wins. Brock Purdy had a good passer rating. He had a great yards per attempt. And what you're focusing on is they were 6 and 11.
No, I'm focusing on the larger picture that right now, what is our collective so I will be on the record. I'm not going to say they had a soft schedule. And if Purdy plays excellent and they surprise, I'm not going to be able to say I'm on the record. I don't think they have some super stacked team. I don't think that.
You think they have a really
No, I think they have league average. I think you have a top 3 running back, top 3 tight end, and bottom 5 receiving core. That creates a league average weapon.
We have no idea if McCaffrey's a top 3 running back.
Well, that would be a huge. That would be great.
He's healthy.
I mean, yeah, but he's how old? He's 29 years old.
If he's
coming
top
off
3,
another injury.
That would be great.
Let me also be clear to be fair. If McCaffrey is injured, or if McCaffrey is a shell of himself, then no, I don't think they have league average weapons. I am baking in the Christian McCaffrey.
What were the weapons last year?
McCaffrey was out all year.
I know.
McCaffrey was out all year.
Ayuk was out.
No, they were below average weapons. Below average. Last year.
But you're holding that against Purdy.
Yeah, I think when you pay a quarterback, which they now have, the hope is that he brings you to a certain floor. And I think that's what we've always talked about. And I think that there was